Sup everybody, Ben the Blur here today, bringing you LEGO Transformers Astropulse. So here we have Astropulse in his Cybertronian satellite mode. Now I originally came up with the idea for this guy because, well, I liked his power, and I was trying to think of different types of vehicle modes for some of my Transformers to be. We already had a truck and a sports car, and also a water truck, or, well, small fire engine I guess, for the Autobots, and then the Decepticons we already had a tank and a fighter jet. So I wanted to kind of stick to the idea that only, well, mainly Decepticons can fly. There aren't many Autobots who could. So I took the idea and I sort of twisted and manipulated it and made this guy. Astropulse is of course a Cybertronian satellite, which looks very cool. Its main colour scheme is black with some light grey and dark grey scattered throughout. He's got this big like pulse cannon down here. He's got another pulse cannon down here. These parts at the side are meant to be like his solar panels, which do also have these buttons and switches on the side, so I guess any other Transformer up in the air could basically stand behind him and control him like he's a remote control cannon. He has this little like, I don't really know what it's called, but on Earth satellites, some satellites and space stations and stuff have this sort of like bar with like these two things that spin around. I guess it's sort of like a relay device. He also has this little engine piece back here that like a vent which sort of feeds through. He has a very simple transformation as well, which I think is pretty unique. I did also build him a little stand, which if I just bring the camera down, you can obviously see there. So you can see his stand down here. It's just simply an 8x8 black base plate with a 4x4, the 2x2 cylinder with one of these night jousting poles on. This we'll get to later on. But yeah, here he is. Just like that. Give me a second. For a quick size comparison, here he is compared to a minifigure. So let's just put the minifigure on the stand. Obviously this isn't exactly to scale, so you can probably tell. Let me just also change focus. There we go. So you can see that's not obviously to scale, but he's a pretty big beefy satellite. There's not really much else really to say about him, so I think let's just go ahead and get into his transformation. So first things first, when we transform him, we're just going to take off this little stand. This jousting pole staff is just clips right there onto a little clip, and we'll set that off to the side. And here he is in his main satellite mode. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're actually going to come up here and we're going to take off this little assembly, set that off to the side. Now what we'll do is this whole entire segment here we're going to bring up just like that on that clip, and then we're going to split these by these hinge bricks down here. That way this will give us enough room to apparently pull this off, to pull this back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to twist this segment around just like that. Now we're going to twist this whole segment around just like that and bring up, if it can, his head just like so. This whole segment here is very sort of stiff and rigid because of stud friction, because there's like 2 turns of jumper plates, and then you've got this hinge, and then you've got these hinges here and clips and poles as well. So there's his head. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try and get this segment done. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring down these, twist them around, which now I realise I've twisted them the wrong way, so let's twist them back just like this. These will obviously become his big beefy legs. We're going to pull this down, and then this we're going to twist all the way around so his legs are in the proper placement. I do apologise if everything is a bit out of focus in certain points. I've swapped cameras. So now we're going to lift this cannon up, bring it forward, twist it down, bend it at the elbow, and we're going to do the same on this side, twist it down and around, and then this little bit here we're going to twist around at that jumper plate, and then we're going to split. There we go. Now that we've got all these fingers and stuff out, we're going to bend this at the elbow, bring his arms slightly down, proportioned, and set him down. And there we have Astropulse in his robot mode. Now, it might be a little bit difficult to see all of his bricks and stuff, purely because I've reorganised my room, so my desk now has all these monitors on and I can't really exactly take them off because I don't have much room. And of course most of his colours are black, just to sort of symbolise that he's a satellite, like space. So here he is. He's got this very nice sort of like curved chest plate with this big satellite dish in the middle with some wiring. He's sort of, he's got this nice purple visor as well. The vent becomes one shoulder, and he's got this curved sort of sloped edge on one arm with a claw, with a hook, with like a claw on one shoulder and then like a spike on another. He's got this big pulse cannon arm with this big, very spindly claw-like hand, which does also have dials and, you know, control panels on the side of his hand. So he's a satellite. You can pretty much control whatever he wanted. He's also got some extras on his thighs and his legs, and he's got this big beefy boots. The back is a bit hollow down here, but I honestly don't mind it just because he looks really interesting. Now, this little piece here obviously did clip onto this shoulder here like this in vehicle mode. You can take this and give him a melee weapon, so what I like to do is, if we move all of his fingers out of the way, you take this little segment here and we're going to feed it through onto his middle finger, push it in, and then we're going to wrap these robot claw hands around it, and that gives him like a little melee hammer type weapon. So I think that's pretty unique and interesting. Now, much like all the other LEGO Transformers, Astropulse's unique ability is that because he's a satellite, he basically has the power of, well, electromagnetic pulses. He pretty much uses his power, and I sort of took the inspiration between Soundwave and Shockwave. So essentially what he can do is he, you know, charges up his power or whatever through the solar panels on his legs and the black solar panels all over his body. And he's able to use his unique ability to control anything. Control turrets, control cannons, even at some points control other Transformers for a short brief of time with his pulse cannon, which is right here. That's why he has all these dials on his claw arm, whatever, so that he can, you know, send out an electromagnetic pulse or burst or whatever, sort of like a sound wave, if you get what I'm saying. He sort of sends out these frequencies which enable him to sort of remotely control anything or anyone he wishes, just at the pure, you know, just by pure choice. And with that is where this little thing comes into play. This is literally just one of these bars with like the little stud at the end, and then has just a bunch of like steering wheels and, you know, these 2x2 cone base plate pieces when these come into play. And there's two unique things you can do with this. One thing you can do is you take this and you can attach it to his arm. So you simply just take off this little translucent cyan cylinder, and what you do is you simply poke that right onto the end there, and then attach this into his pulse cannon. And that way he has this big beefy pulse cannon arm, which is actually quite heavy, so you can't exactly hold it up on his own, unfortunately. But that's pretty cool. It's sort of like, it gives you the impression that like when he's charging up his power, this whole assembly comes out of his arm, like his arm actually transforms into this pulse cannon. And another thing you can do, which I actually prefer because I think this is pretty damn unique, is this is his like ultra power, when he's sending out all these electromagnetic bursts and pulses and radio frequencies to sort of, you know, disorientate his enemies to control other machinery. Is you can take this translucent cyan stud out of his chest plate, and simply what we're going to do is just attach it right there, just like that, and you simply just put this straight into there. Line it up, angle it how you wish, and it's like the satellite almost like sort of stays within him, but he transforms his entire chest plate, and then with all of these little like cylinder cone pieces, like base plates that come through his chest, this transforms out of his chest, and he sends this one giant sonar burst through his chest. That would obviously, you know, inflict some damage, charge up some power, some sort of turrets and weaponry and stuff like that. I really like his design, purely because I actually properly designed him. I actually drew on pieces of paper and stuff. I came up with the idea of like his arms, his legs, how they would look like in a sort of layered form. So I did like the bottom of the vehicle, like his vehicle mode or alt mode, then the middle mode and the top, and then sort of switched it around, and then like did the same for robot mode. And so I just literally, after I did that, I pretty much just found the pieces and put them together. And I really like how he turned out. He's one of my favourite of the ones I've created, because I really like his design. And he's really simple and easy to transform, and he has a very unique vehicle mode. For a quick size comparison, here he is with his commanding officer, here he is with Atom Breaker. And I think these two complement each other really well, because when you look at them, they literally look they compare themselves to Megatron and Soundwave, or Megatron and Shockwaves. Atom Breaker is meant to be sort of like a Brawl / Megatron type vehicle mode, and then Astropulse is meant to be like a Shockwave, Soundwave type. He's a satellite, yes, and he does have the singular purple glowing eye with the big, you know, giant one arm of a gun and then one arm of a claw hand or whatever, big beefy boots. But yet he's very slim and slender and unique, and I really like that aspect about him. Here's another quick size comparison for you. Here he is next to Flash Drive. So you can see the comparison between the two. Flash Drive is literally half his size. And then of course, we might as well just go ahead and give you him compared to a little minifigure. So you can see the comparison between him and a minifigure scale. I think he looks really unique. I really do like him. He's one of my most successfully built and designed characters. He has a very unique power as well, being able to send out radio frequencies, sonar, energy blasts, you know. And he just looks really cool. You don't obviously need to keep this on the stand at all times. You can just keep it there, but I just like the idea that like this is something that you add to him to give the idea that his power is being used. There's not really much else to say about him, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you next time. Peace out.